Hi everybody and welcome back to the Upside Down. Today I want to talk about Black Widow, but a spoiler talk. I just did a spoiler-free review back when it came out, but now that it is on physical media, I wanted to kind of talk about it in spoiler fashion. And I have the Target exclusive up here, and I'm just going to open that up and kind of show it off. So stick around for that. Now let's get into the spoiler review of Black Widow. So my score may have changed from the 8 out of 10 that I gave it in my spoiler-free review. It's changed, so stick around, of course, till the end to see what new score I give it. I said this in the spoiler-free review, but I loved seeing the Marvel opening theme again. Seeing and hearing that theme is just music to my ears, and we hadn't heard it for a year and a half on the big screen. We've heard it, of course, in WandaVision and The Falcon and Winter Soldier, but it was the first movie back in a year and a half, and it was just really great to hear. It really put me in a good mood. I personally really liked the opening scene of this movie. I had no idea what was going on. I barely know anything about, Black Widow's backstory. I know some things about the Red Room and stuff, and whatever stuff's been sprinkled throughout the movies, but I didn't know much, so I really didn't know what was going on here. I think before I thought that, David Harbour's character and Rachel Weisz's character were their actual parents, and then something happened. I wasn't really sure. But the opening was really intriguing. I loved the plane chase scene. I thought it was so well done. This opening was just really good, I thought, and it made me excited for the rest of the film. And I was like, okay, maybe this film is going to be pretty good. Even though I stand by, this should have come out years ago, between Civil War and Infinity War, when it was set. And maybe even there could have been a Black Widow origin movie before that if they wanted to do that. I don't know. And maybe a Budapest movie to kind of include Hawkeye in there, something like that. I loved the song American Pie playing, and then bringing it up again later in the movie. I thought that the young actresses playing Yelena and Natasha were really good here. And then I really liked the intro, the opening music, the opening credits. I thought that the Smells Like Teen Spirit cover was really well used here. It was eerie, it was dark, and their backstory is very dark. I mean, these young girls are getting taken from their families, and you see what they had to do in the Red Room, what they had to go through. You see all that in the opening, and I thought that was really well helmed. So then we jump right into the first act, and you have Ross. He's in it, and he's looking for Natasha, and this is like right after the Civil War scene. And you find out that Natasha, she wasn't. I thought she was in the bathroom there, or they wanted to make you think that, but she wasn't. She was getting away and tried to live her own life. Yelena is such a good character. She's the standout here. Florence Pugh does amazing. She's my favorite part of this movie. She's funny. She just has a really good character. She's really good at playing this character. I loved her. I think Florence Pugh did a great job. So I will say the Taskmaster looks cool. The big reveal, which I'll get to it in a little bit, was just not it for me. And I feel like Taskmaster was really wasted here. He could have been a really cool villain because he mimics the fighting styles of whoever he's fighting. I mean, you see him study the people in the Civil War. You see him start to kind of fight like Natasha during that car scene when she gets in an accident. So Natasha was watching Moonraker, one of the Bond films, which has a similar premise. So that it was a really interesting and kind of like a foreshadowing of events. I thought that was really cool. Then we get to the car explosion scene, which I thought was just so unrealistic, and this really started my flaws with this film. I don't know, she's a human, like I said, she's a human being, and this car exploded and flipped and flipped and flipped and hit the bridge, and she was getting flung around, and then she got thrown at the car, and she fell off the bridge, and all of that stuff was happening in this scene. And yeah, the fight with Taskmaster, it was cool, but she's still just a human being, and this car explosion barely phased her. And then we get a lot of that throughout this movie, where action, and she should have been seriously injured or killed, and she's just okay. For me, at least, I don't recall seeing that in previous MCU projects. I feel like this was, heightened even more. She was just being able to survive all of this. I know it's a superhero movie, but I thought it was just unrealistic. It didn't feel true to this character. She's just a human being. Then we get to Natasha and Yelena, because Yelena stashed the cure to being under the mind control thing that Taskmaster was trying to get. So Yelena stashed it with Natasha. That's why Taskmaster was after her. Natasha goes to Yelena. They get in a fight, which I didn't totally understand if it was, maybe it was just for an action scene, but I mean, yeah, maybe Natasha didn't know if Yelena was under control or not, but Yelena should have known that Natasha wasn't. So it was kind of confusing, but it was a good fight. It was some cool hand-to-hand combat. Not as good as Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi was just really good with its hand-to-hand combat. And then we get another scene, Natasha falling from that building, like when they're on the run, and she falls from that building. She hits a bunch of stuff on the way down and hits the dumpster, then hits the ground. And she's just totally pretty much okay. That's another thing. Like I said, she's just human. It was a cool action scene, but again, nothing we haven't seen. And the same with this car chase that leads right after it. They're in this car chase, and Taskmaster blows them up from below, and they flip everywhere, they fly everywhere, and then they're both just okay. You know, they're human beings. I did think it was cool that they hid up in the vents, and that's where Hawkeye and her hid in Budapest when she was there. But that's about it, and we do get a flashback of her blowing up, trying to blow up Jake off in Budapest, but she blows up his daughter too. And then there's like the argument about that, as whether she's alive or not. I wish we got more Budapest throughout the MCU. I don't know why, I just think that if they wanted to do a movie or anything about Hawkeye and Black Widow, I think they should have been together, because they do work really well as, you know, recurring characters, as side characters, background characters in the MCU so far, but they haven't really had their full time to shine. Hawkeye's series is coming out this year, and now we have the Black Widow movie way too late, I think, but it is good hearing some of the stuff, you know, references to what we heard in the past, but it's still, I don't know, this movie didn't hit it all for me. Alright, so one of my favorite things about the movie is the poser parts. The joke about being a superhero, you know, doing superhero poses and being a poser. I thought that was really funny. Florence Pugh did a really good job making fun of how Natasha does that, and it's funny. There was really good comedy here for this movie. I got this, and I did like in a little bit when the helicopter, Alexei thinks he's gonna make it, thinks they're gonna make it or whatever, and she's like, nope, and he's like, no, we'll make it, and she's like, alright, and then the helicopter just falls from the sky. I thought that was pretty funny. There was some good comedy here. Some of it did not hit, though, for me. But anyway, then we get kind of a sisterly bond moment where they're talking about the life that they, you know, that Florence Pugh's Yelena was talking about, like how she had a dog, what Natasha was doing, you know, just a normal family life. I thought that was good. And this kind of leads into the second act. They have to go break out Alexei from jail to find out where the Red Room is to end it all, which Natasha thought she stopped when she blew up Dreykov and his daughter, but she did not. It was a good introduction to the Red Guardian, like that. I know Alexei, we've seen him earlier in the movie, but he had an arm wrestling competition with the prisoners. I thought that was pretty cool, and then they have their big prison breakout scene, which I thought was good. So, like, the action in this movie was, I probably think this about all the action in this movie. It's fine, but it's nothing really we haven't seen before. It's kind of forgettable. It's nothing really mind-blowing. But anyway, this scene ends kind of with Yelena blowing up the tower, but then that causes an avalanche. And of course, they all get out in the nick of time as the avalanche covers the prison. And then we kind of slow down for a while. You know, Alexei says that Melina knows where the Red Room is, but I don't. So they go to Melina. And then there's just, it's kind of a family drama at this point. There's some funny moments, there's some emotional-ish moments. The more I think about it, this movie I don't think landed in a way that maybe it did for a lot of people, but it just didn't land for me as much, but I still like it. I think more than a lot of the MCU fans did. I still enjoy it. I did like this transition where Alexei started oinking like a pig, and then it went right, like it transitioned right to the actual pigs yoinking at Melina's farm. I thought that was pretty cool. And then the pig's name's Alexei, and then Melina kind of demonstrates the mind control thing, which the mind control stuff and the pheromone stuff, which we'll get to in a minute, did not work for me in this movie. It just seemed really off, especially the pheromone stuff. I did not like the pheromones. The pig actually stopped breathing. And then there's just family drama, but Yelena gets mad. She's like, it's real to me, because, you know, Natasha was like, well, it wasn't real, but it was real to them, and it was, Yelena, it was real to her. She goes off, and that's when, you know, Alexei and her have their moment, and he sings American Pie, which I thought was a really good moment. And then out in the hall, Melina and Natasha have their moment, and Melina kept the photo book from their youth, which I thought was a pretty cool moment. And Melina says that she contacted the Red Room already, and they'll be here any second. They come and get everyone, and they lock Natasha, who's not Natasha. It's actually really real. It's Melina in that face changing tech. and Alexei up, and then Melina, as Natasha gets out, reveals she's Melina as Natasha as Melina in the face thing goes up to confront Dreykov. And that is when it's revealed the Taskmaster is Dreykov's daughter. She did not die in that big explosion earlier, but she became, they got her to become the Taskmaster, basically. I didn't love that reveal. It just wasn't developed enough. I wouldn't have minded it, but it just wasn't developed enough. That's all I gotta say. And I think Taskmaster could have been a really cool villain just because he mimics the fighting style of he's fighting. And I think they dropped the ball with this one. So I actually did not guess the twist that Melina was actually Natasha in disguise. I did think it was odd that Melina changed her hair and everything when, you know, when the Red Room captured all of them. But I didn't even guess the twist, and then I was like, wait, what are there two Natashas? So I liked that twist, and I didn't guess it, so I thought that was pretty cool. So Dreykov tells him he remembers where her mom was buried, but he doesn't remember the name. They're all nobodies to him, basically. And obviously, this upsets Natasha. And this is when the pheromone thing is revealed, that he has pheromones that none of the widows that ever have or been, you know, are widows or have been. They can't hurt him. And I thought that was so dumb, because what if you're standing far away from him and you can't smell him, you know, and then you could shoot him? I mean, we do see Yelena's able to do it from the top of the helicopter, which would make sense. She probably couldn't smell him from up there. It's just stupid. I don't know. I thought that was dumb. Did not like the pheromone thing at all. And even like the sever the nerves kind of seemed like a weird line. You could think of it as a double meaning, like sever the nerve, but also sever him in his plan, and like sever his communication and control over the girls. So that's kind of how I took it. So that could be right, and then that makes it a little better. I just feel throughout this whole movie, Scarlett Johansson, she's good. She's a really good actress, but I didn't feel her heart in this role as much as I usually do in the MCU or in other roles. Like I said, Florence Pugh was the standout to me. That's who I really enjoyed in this movie. I did not like the line, "I'm gonna get rid of what the world has too many of, girls." I thought that was like dumb. I don't know, yeah. It just was the delivery of it, just the line in general, the dialogue of it. It just wasn't good. So a lot of the stuff with the Dreykov thing, basically, I think he was a kind of a wasted villain. We could have gotten more from him in Taskmaster, but we didn't. Just random, but I love one of the lines is, "Elena, I have destroyed one of the engines, and now we're going into a controlled crash." I like that. I liked when Florence Pugh did the superhero pose, and she's like, "Oh, disgusting," and shakes it off. So, you know, there's little lines here, good comedic timing, I thought. I also liked when Alexei was trying to pour his heart out, you know, and then it was the wrong person, or he didn't have an earbud, or something like that. I thought that was really funny. I liked Natasha versus the widows, and I liked that Yelena freed them by shooting up the thing, and then we get to the whole air scene, them falling. We have Yelena kills Dreykov, saying this was fun, which, earlier Natasha was like, it could be fun. And then Yelena falls through the sky. Of course, Natasha can just go down and dodge all this debris, falling buildings, falling everything, and save her, put a parachute on her, and then fall down more and fight the Taskmaster for a second, and then and then be okay. Antonio, the Taskmaster, the daughter, she asks, "Is he gone?" And I thought that was a pretty sweet moment, because that's all she wanted him to be gone. She wanted to be out of this, you know, controlled environment. And then we get a call back to the beginning when they were young sisters, and she said, "We're both upside down," like they did in the beginning. And then Natasha tells her it was real to her. So I do like the sisterly bond here, the family elements. I did like that here. So my first two viewings, I didn't even think about how Natasha got out of the whole Ross situation at the end. But now I'm thinking, what if, because she took down Dreykov in the Red Room, he gave her a pass, maybe not like freed her of all her allegations and everything, but like said, well, let me look this way and give you 20 seconds, and then she got away like that. So maybe something like that happened, but I still wish they showed us how she got out of the Ross situation. Him with a bunch of cars were driving up right near her, and she said that she was going to stay back while Yelena, they call the widows and her family, got away. And then we kind of get a little bit later, Natasha has the blonde hair and the vest from Yelena that we see in Infinity War, and then Mason got her a jet. O.T. Fagbenle was really wasted here. I mean, he even got a character poster. Maybe that was just to make it even, but he wasn't in this that much. But anyway, Mason at the end did get her a jet, the jet that we know from Avengers Infinity War, which I don't know how he got that, but whatever. And then she flies off, and the Avengers theme is playing as she flies off. I really enjoyed that. I love the nostalgia of it. And then it kind of scrolls over to the light bugs that we see in the beginning of the movie. And then we get to the post-credit scene. Yelena visits Natasha's grave with a dog that she has, because she mentioned earlier that she wanted a dog. She's at the grave, and she does the whistling thing, and I really thought for a second they were going to do something. I don't know how, but Natasha was going to whistle back or something. But I'm glad that they did not. Valentina, from who we were introduced to in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, this was supposed to be her introduction, shows up and gives her a job and shows her this is who killed your sister, and it's Clint. So I got really excited because Florence Pugh was going to be in the Hawkeye series. I don't think I knew that prior to this, but I'm really excited. I'm so happy she's going to be in the Hawkeye series. A couple other questions I had were kind of who was after them in the beginning that they had to run and get on that plane like that. That was really the only question I had kind of lingering after this. I just want to mention I did like the score here, and especially the Taskmaster score. I think the Taskmaster score is the coolest part of Taskmaster. I think it's a really good score. So everybody, now is the moment we've all been waiting for. And then I'm going to give you my new score for Black Widow. We are going to open up the Target exclusive edition 4K of Black Widow. So this comes right off, but then we have a nice opening. I love it, love it, love it, love it. So here's the cover. And then we have the back is Florence Pugh's character, Yelena, which I love. And we have Alexei and Melina. Gosh darn. Okay, and then we just have the regular 4K case. Digital copy. And the discs. This nice little mini gallery book. This is what I love about them. Oh, that's a pretty cool picture. Yeah, so we got a cool gallery book. I really like the front too. Yeah, with the forward, oh, nice forward, and then characters, stuff about the characters. Natasha Romanoff, Black Widow, Yelena Belova, Melina Vostokov, Red Guardian. Mason even has one. And Taskmaster. Oh, and a little bit about the Red Room. And some concept art. Yeah, so I really enjoyed the Target exclusives, and then an afterword from Scarlett Johansson. I really enjoy the, the Target exclusive books and like special cases and all of that. I think that it's really cool. Also guys, it may seem, as you can see all these popcorn tins and cups and everything around me, that I like Black Widow, the character, more than I actually do. I do like her, and I think Scarlett Johansson does a great job. There are definitely MCU characters that I like way more than this, and I have less stuff of. It just kind of happened this way. Like, at Endgame, it was a choice between her and someone else, and I got her. I got this at AMC when I saw Black Widow, but I didn't know Regal had one, so when I went to Regal to see another movie, they had this in this cup, so I got it then. So it's kind of just almost coincidence, not really, but that I have all this Black Widow stuff. But I am a fan of the character, and I like the movie enough, don't get me wrong. But yeah, I'm not that big, but I will tell you guys a story. So, this was a choice between her or Iron Man, and I should have picked Iron Man, but I picked her just because I felt like everyone was going to have Iron Man, and I like Iron Man. I don't love him as much as a lot of people do, but I do like him, do not get me wrong. But I picked her, but guess what? If I had picked Iron Man, I would have had a Captain America tin, because afterwards we were walking out, and someone wanted to trade a Captain America tin for an Iron Man one, and that would have been my #1 choice. So I had her, I didn't have Iron Man. My friend got the Captain America one, and I ended up ordering the Captain America one and the Thor one on eBay. So I do have them, but I could have got the Captain America one for cheaper than what I got it for if I had just picked Iron Man over her. But I am glad, you know, that I have this stuff. It just shows my love for Marvel more than anything. What would I give Black Widow? The first time I reviewed it, I gave it an 8 out of 10. But now, what would I give Black Widow? Black Widow, I think I'd lower the score to a 7. A 7 out of 10 for Black Widow. What did you think of Black Widow? What did you think of the twists and turns, kind of, in the story? What did you think of Scarlett Johansson's performance? Did you love Florence Pugh like I did? Let me know down in that comment section. You could fill that comment section with spoilers. If you liked what you've seen here and you want to see something else, please click around here to see something else. Please like this video, comment on this video, share this video with the MCU fans in your life. Hit that notification bell. Subscribe and come to the Upside Dan.